Welcome to NAHUC's Lending Library. NAHUC is a professional association for health unit coordinators and other frontline healthcare professionals performing similar tasks. NAHUC is the provider of professional development for healthcare support team members. NAHUC is pleased to offer the webinar Mindfulness as presented by Lisa Hare. We are grateful to Lisa for providing this content. This presentation first debuted at NAHUC's Education Conference in June of 2021. Information about earning NAHUC contact hours through NAHUC's virtual library can be found at the end of this presentation and on the NAHUC website, www.nahuc.org.
I would like now to introduce our session presenter. I heard her when she came in. I was like, wow, I think I'm introducing the wrong person. Such energy when she walked into the room. And I was like, wow, okay, she hasn't started presenting, and you can feel the energy. So I know that we're in for a wonderful time. Her name is Lisa Hare. She's a program manager for customer experience and performance excellence at Frederick Health Department, designed to create and support exceptional patient and customer experience through evidence-based communication-based practices. Lisa and her colleagues provide training and coaching to staff, leaders, and physicians throughout the health system. Through an external partnership, she developed her coaching skill set and was trained and validated as an internal coach. Lisa is also a trained Life XT coach, a science-based program designed to help improve well-being, eliminate burnout, increase resiliency to stress, among other benefits. She's a gifted presenter and loves to connect and reconnect people back to purpose. Lisa completed her master's degree in organizational leadership and administration in December 2018 with a focus on mindfulness in leadership, a topic she is very passionate about. Her dynamic speaking style engages audiences and leaves them inspired and motivated. Please, please give a warm welcome to Lisa Hare, who will do our presentation on mindfulness.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, you got it now, right? We just had to practice a little bit. So thank you, Patty and team, for inviting me to be here. I am elated to be back. So fun fact about me is I got to present at the 2014 NAHUC conference in Minneapolis. Was anybody there? Yeah, you were. Yeah, so excited to be here. And for those that missed it, well, no worries, because you're in for a treat these next couple of days. It was really an honor. And for me, back in 2014, that was my first opportunity for a national speaking engagement. And it lit my fire like I can't even tell you. I love having the opportunity. Again, many, many thanks to Patty and team for inviting me here, and really just an honor to be here with you guys today. I also want to thank our gentlemen behind the scenes who are helping with technology. At first I was like, do I really need a microphone? So, but he assured me I did. So if I get too loud, you guys, you just have to be like, girl, bring it down. And I will, because I am pretty excitable. So. Really, really fired up to be here with you to talk to you today about mindfulness. Now, one thing that I do want to share with you guys is I love interactivity. So I welcome questions, I welcome comments, stories, anything, any contributions. So please feel free. And I did also just want to mention, along with my partners on the board, I am fully vaccinated too. So I just want to reassure everyone as I'm wandering around that I am good there. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and get started. One thing that I brought along that I just wanted to point out that I was so tickled by, I don't know if you guys noticed the quote on the front of the brochure for this event. It says, A walk on the beach is for stretching your legs and your mind and for looking at life with newfound eyes. Right? I had the same reaction. I hear some of you murmuring out there. Well, whoever picked this quote, thank you, because it cannot be any more fitting for how we're going to be able to stretch our minds today. So really, really exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. We already talked about me. We all go way back. Remember that one time it was fun? Here's what I'm hoping we can cover. We're going to start right away. We're going to jump right in with what's called an arrival. Ooh, you just wait. We're going to learn more about that. I'm going to give you guys an introduction today. Trust me when I say I would love to stay here all day and talk with you. Very serious about that. Love to. This is simply an introduction. So I promise you that I will be mindful of your time and I will end on time. And if I don't, I think I might get the cane. No, I'm just teasing. I know you won't do that to me. I do invite you, and we'll have some opportunities to have some interactive dialogue. So again, I invite you to please engage. It's so much more fun when we can hear your thoughts, your examples, things of that nature. I'm going to give you some simple daily practices that you can start using today, at home, in your work area, wherever. And I may be leaving you with a little gift to go with too. So you just wait, that's coming. Wouldn't be a session if we weren't talking about the power of positivity, so that's going to come along. And then we'll wrap up with some key takeaways, and again, my sincerest appreciation. How does that sound? We're all ready? Yeah, we are. Okay, fantastic. The first thing that I want to start with is what's called an arrival. And an arrival is an opportunity for us to separate from everything that's already happened in our day. And it doesn't mean that everything has been bad up until now. It just means there's been a lot going on, right? You got up, you maybe took a walk or enjoyed, some breakfast or checked some emails or things of that nature, engaged with people. There's a lot of different energy. An arrival is an opportunity for us simply to take a break. So, if you will all engage with this, I would be very, very grateful. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and simply get nice and comfortable in your chair. And by the way, feel free, if you're at an angle, please, no kinks in the neck, you guys. Allow yourself to get nice and comfortable. If it feels right, I'm going to ask you to put both your feet on the ground. Your hands can be in your lap, on the table, wherever it feels right. Here's where it's going to get really crazy, guys. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. No napping. And right now, I just want you to take a moment to simply breathe. Allow that opportunity. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel your feet rooted on the ground. Feel the comfort of the chair supporting you. Maybe take a moment, think about how your hands are feeling. Are they tense? Are they tight? Just allow them to soften. Maybe consider how your back is feeling against the chair. Hopefully quite supported. Think about your stomach. How is that feeling? Hopefully nice and well fed. Again, if you're feeling any tension there, allow that to soften. Just go ahead and keep breathing. Nice deep breath in. And a nice deep breath out. Think about your shoulders. So often We're almost wearing our shoulders up by our ears when we're tense. Allow your shoulders to feel heavy, weighted. Think about your neck, your throat area. Allow that to feel soft, relaxed. Think about your facial muscles. Maybe take a moment, and if it feels right, open your mouth. Move your mouth around. Let that jaw. It's okay. Our eyes are all closed. It's okay. No judgment. Allow that to get nice and comfortable and relaxed. We hold a lot of tension in our facial muscles. And now I just invite you to feel your whole body feeling relaxed, comfortable. Go ahead and take another deep breath in and let that breath out. And when it feels right, I invite you to gently open your eyes. How did that feel, guys? It feels good, doesn't it? I see some pretty blissed out faces out there, you guys. That was like a minute. Now, in arrival, and you're welcome, that's your first takeaway. Look at how quick we work here, huh? Yeah, your first takeaway. So an arrival can happen anytime, anywhere. What we did is a very, very, very brief guided meditation. It doesn't even have to be that. You can do an arrival before you get in your car to come to work, for example. You could just say for 30 seconds, before you turn on the ignition, don't do this while you're driving, I'm just going to close my eyes and breathe. Because didn't that feel good? Didn't that feel good to take a nice deep breath? I mean, it sounds really silly, but when was the last time you did that? Now, if you're already into the mindfulness practice, you may say, Lisa, this morning, and that's awesome. My guess is we haven't done that for a while, though. And again, that's okay. It's about finding these tools, though, that are right here within us, that are free, that we can use anytime. So this is a great opportunity, something you could do, and again, at any situation, for any time. You could start your day. I'm going to do an arrival every day before I have breakfast. And it could be I'm simply going to focus on my breath for 30 seconds. You can do this many times during the course of the day. It's a great way to center yourself in the present moment. Because what happens is oftentimes we're bringing along the baggage of everything else that's gone on our day. And again, it doesn't mean it's negative. It just means we're bringing a lot of stuff. Have you guys ever gone to a meeting and conversation starts and you're still thinking about what happened before the meeting? It happens all the time, right? Because we can't just automatically switch off. It's not like, okay, and now I'm starting here and it's new. We're probably still processing things that have happened to us in the past. So that arrival is a really nice opportunity to center yourself. And again, something you can do anytime, anywhere, any modification. You guys excited? Arrival. All right, your first practice. All right. So with that being said, I am curious about your experience with mindfulness. And I want to set the stage to let you guys know that wherever you're at, it's the right place. So if this is your first time and you're still like, Lisa, what in the heck is mindfulness? That's cool. And if you're teaching a class on mindfulness and you're like, I want to learn more, because we're all lifelong learners, right? That's cool too. So I'm curious if a couple of people in the room might be interested to share with us. Where are you at? This is the sharing time, guys. What's that?
No, she said, what do you mean by where are we
So like, what's your experience? Like, have you practiced mindfulness? Are you familiar with it? Like, I'll give you guys a throwaway. Here's an example. I'm a yogi. Do I have any yogis in the room? People who practice yoga? I've got one over there. So in yoga, typically when you end your practice, we do something called Shavasana. Shavasana is one of the most awesome things in the world. I highly recommend, if you guys have never taken a yoga practice, it will change your life. Anyway, at the end of the yoga practice, we bring it all together and we simply lie down on the ground and we're quiet and still. And we allow our minds to be still for a couple minutes. And it's amazing. Shavasana is one of the most beautiful things. And a lot of times what we do during Shavasana is practice mindfulness. So that's like an example. So you get a gimme right there for doing your practice. So you're familiar then.
I'm also a Zen Buddhist, so we practice mindfulness every day, every moment. That's the point of Buddhism.
Yeah. Fantastic. If you guys didn't hear over there, she said she's a Zen Buddhist, so she practices mindfulness every day. Isn't that fantastic? So you come on up here. Let's do this together.
I just got saved because I'm a Christian now.
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. You don't have to. I'm teasing you. But thank you. How about anyone else? Yes. Yeah. Oh. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. And if you guys didn't hear, she was talking about that she practices meditation as part of her spirituality. So she actually incorporates that into a daily spiritual practice, which is wonderful. And for the record, mindfulness isn't necessarily a spiritual practice. You certainly can, and I hear of a lot of people who do weave that together. So excellent. Anyone else want to share? Yeah. And if you give us a nice loud voice.
Okay, so no laughing, but I have an eye watch and I practice mindfulness because my eye watch tells me to do it.
I love it. You guys hear that? Her iWatch. And we'll talk about resources when we wrap things up. But I will tell you guys, on my flight, and I'm not laughing because I think that's amazing, on my flight yesterday, especially when we had some delays, which you know what that can be like, right? We were just talking about, you run in the airport, and then it's like, oh, sorry, your flight's going to be delayed. And then you think, how's that layover going to work out for me, So what did I do? I'm not that fancy. I've just got the Fitbit. But it does have meditation on it. And I love it. And I probably did it like 5 times yesterday. And it's awesome because really what they are, these are great cues that remind us. You've built in your cue. Chances are, I'm certain you have too. And so for the rest of us, it's about how do we bring in those regular cues? And if you guys do have something like this, whether it's your iWatch or your Fitbit or whatever it might have, I highly recommend. This is a really nice thing. They're 2 minutes. And, it gives me some like nice affirmations, like at the end of the one that I did yesterday. I forgot. It called me something amazing, like, you're a superstar. And I was like, yeah, I am. Like silly things. But we need stuff like that because life is busy and complicated. And there's a lot going on. And if we truly want to be mindful, we want to bring mindfulness into our life, we have to find ways. It's like any practice, right? If you want to start, in like a healthy practice, so you want to start running every day. Well, you have to have something that reminds you, that cues you to do it, or you'll find distractions that will take you away from that. And the picture, and I apologize, it might be hard to see, but the picture is simply a person taking their dog for the walk, and in the person's vision, they're seeing everything. There's tons of stuff, so their mind is full. The dog is thinking about trees and the sun. The dog is mindful. So how often in life do we miss things because we're so caught up in everything? Right? And so that's really what we're talking about here. Thanks, guys, for those that shared. And for anyone that didn't, that's okay. No worries. You'll still have your opportunity. So let's talk more. But first, I want to talk about stress. Anybody have stress in their lives? We all do, right? Now, for the record, I cannot take your stress away. I just want to level set, guys. I am not a magician. You wouldn't want that. Believe it or not, there are a lot of studies out there that say a fair amount of stress is good. You don't want it all the time, but believe it or not, life like this, that's no good either. So we need those bumps, right? It's about controlling our reactivity to those bumps. Are you excited? We're going to talk more about it. We are. But let's first explore. And so I want you guys, and we're just going to do this for a minute. Trust me, it's going to be helpful. I want you to think about a stressful experience. So we all identified that we have stress. So I want you to think about a stressful experience that you've had sometime in the recent past. And when I say a stressful experience, here's how I'm going to define it for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a paper cut, 10 being a death in the family, let's keep it around the 4 to 7 range, okay? You guys get, and don't worry if you nod, I'm not going to call on you, I promise. I'm not going to ask anybody to share their experience. Sometimes people get nervous. They're like, no, I can't react. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to call on you. But think about that experience. Does everyone have an experience in their minds? Something stressful that's happened to them? Okay. Now here's where I am curious about your thoughts. When you think about that stressor, what happens in your body? Like, what are you feeling in terms of reactions? Can anyone share with me a reaction? Yes. Sad, okay. And how is that? So that's an emotion that's coming up for you, right? And it might mean too, like, I know when I'm sad, I sort of feel like just kind of like I want to curl up, you know, like crying. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. What else? What else do you feel in your body with that stress? Yeah. Tension. And where is your tension happening? Yeah. Yeah. So tension, you guys are, all of a sudden, did you ever have that where you're like, what is going on here? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm holding tension. Jaw, remember when we did the arrival and I told you guys to release? It makes a big difference. We're holding a lot of stuff there. I also find, like, for me, I feel tension, like I'll find subconsciously be gripping my hands. Apparently I want to punch somebody. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a violent woman. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely great. What else? What else? How about over here? What do you guys feel? What you got going on in your body when you're stressed? You want to, oh, so your reaction is you want to eat? Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so she's already moving on, which, gosh, you're on like level 2 here. So she was talking about going to the gym, like when she's hit with those stressors. So she's thinking about positive ways to be able to deal with them. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. Is, not necessarily going to the gym, but that's awesome. But again, how do we get ourselves out of that place? Because we've already identified that we're feeling a lot of different things. I find, oops, sorry, forgot about the microphone, sorry about that. I find too, my heart races if I get really stressed out. I can actually feel like I'm not breathing, like it feels really shallow. And when that happens, that's impacting our heart rate, that's impacting our blood pressure, really important things to keep level, right? So it's very important for us to identify those reactions, because the good news is We don't have to have them. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about not having that tension or not having any of those physical responses, maybe not feeling that sadness? And it doesn't mean that emotions such as grief or things of that nature that they happen. It's about processing through them, right? So not getting stuck. I mean, how would you feel if you didn't have to go through that tension that you were feeling? It'd be a lot better, right? If you could just kind of visit it and move on, right? Because all emotions are good emotions. It's not like one's bad or right or wrong. It's about a healthy processing through it. And that's what we're talking about through mindfulness. It's about getting in touch with that and then maybe saying, hey, you know what? I don't have to go down that rabbit trail. I don't have to be a victim of that. So let's talk more about that. And what I want to share first, here we go, AV folks. Woohoo, I'm excited. What I have for you guys, and I'm going to do this successfully. I am putting that out to the universe. So I have a video for you. It's short, it's cute, and it's very meaningful. It comes to us from Happify, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So look at that fancy touch screen laptop. I was so excited. I was like, wow, I can touch it.
You may have heard this word mindfulness. It's become something of a buzz phrase of late. I'm going to give you one simple, serviceable definition, which is this. Mindfulness is the ability to know what's happening in your head at any given moment without getting carried away by it. Imagine how useful this could be. Just as an example, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off in traffic. How do you normally react? I think most of us, we normally react by having a thought, which is, I'm pissed. And then what happens next? You immediately, habitually, reflexively inhabit that thought. You actually become pissed. There's no buffer between the stimulus and your reaction. With just a little bit of mindfulness, in that same situation, you might notice my chest is buzzing, my ears are turning red, I'm having a starburst of self-righteous thoughts, I'm getting angry. But you don't necessarily have to act on it and chase that person down the road, screaming at them with your kids in the back of the car thinking you've gone nuts. Now, you might be thinking, don't I need to get angry sometimes? Aren't I justified? I would say yes, but probably not as much as you think. The proposition here is not that you should be rendered by mindfulness into some lifeless, non-judgmental blob. The proposition is that you should learn how to respond wisely to things that happen to you, rather than just reacting blindly. And that, my friends, is a superpower. How do you get it? The way to get it is through meditation. I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, who's chasing you? But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in, they showed that physical exercise is really good for you, and now all of us do it, and if we don't, we feel guilty about it. And that's where I think we're headed with mindfulness and meditation. It's going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you. Let me just close by saying, mindfulness is not going to solve all of your problems. It's not going to render your life a nonstop parade of unicorns and rainbows. Nonetheless, this is a superpower, and one that is accessible by you immediately.
The more you know, right? Did you guys recognize the voice? Did anyone pick up who that might be? So, interesting story. So the voice that you heard is Dan Harris, and he is pretty famous newscaster, broadcaster. He's been on Good Morning America and other very popular shows. And why that's important to know is that quite a few years ago now, he had a nervous breakdown on TV. And his story was that, it's very stressful. Their work is very, very stressful. And it got too much for him, and he made some poor choices. And he had that breakdown, and then he discovered mindfulness. And he is a completely changed person these days. And if you're ever interested, he has a book called 10% Happier. And it is a really good read. It's a paperback. It's literally a weekend read if you enjoy. He's fascinating to listen to. And I really appreciate his journey, because all of our journeys are different. It doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to flip a switch and I'm going to be 100% mindful in every interaction, which I don't think anyone is quite there yet. Anyway, it's really about that awareness. So I definitely recommend Happify, and that's in my resources too for you guys. That's a great site. They have podcasts too. Really interesting. And again, you have to figure out like what appeals to you. But I'm curious, what did you guys think about that vignette? Is there anything that stuck out? And again, no wrong answer. Just was there anything that you guys really appreciated? Yeah. That was you behind the wheel. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Could anybody else identify with that situation? I see a lot of you nodding. I could too. I was like, I've been that person. I'm not proud, but I've been that person. Progress, right? We're all on that journey. Did I see a hand over here? Were you identifying too? Oh yeah, I think we all can, on some level, right? And so I think that's what's so important, because oftentimes we look back at those situations and we think, you know what, I wasn't my best self. Because I don't think anybody feels good after doing the, and yelling at someone, and then like a couple minutes later, you're like, was that worth it? And what was it? Right. Well, and I don't know, has it ever happened to anyone where like that's happened and then you both pull into the same parking lot? Embarrassing. Like, hi, I'm sorry, I was the one that was yelling at you. Like, yeah. Right, and you do have to be concerned about how people can react. I mean, sadly, it's a pretty scary world out there. So yet another reason for us to be mindful of our interactions, because one, it's not worth it for ourselves, and two, it's not worth it for how others might react, right? So it's really, really good for us. Yeah? Right.
You need to be mindful of your surroundings.
Yeah.
You might be teaching those kids how not to act.
Yeah. There's and I'm never going to get the details right, so you guys just bear with me here, but there's a country song, and the little kid says a swear word, and he asks the kid, where did you learn that? And he learned it from his dad. Kids are watching every move, right? And the same thing with the workplace. So your colleagues, if you have any staff reporting to you, they're watching your every move. People are always checking you out. How are you reacting? Was it positive? Was it negative? What was the interaction like? So do you want your kids or friends or family to be like, gosh, that wasn't very healthy, or kind of embarrassing too, right? I think reactive behavior can be very, very embarrassing. And it's very empowering for us to be able to stay collected. Anyone else? I want to make sure everyone has a voice. Was there anyone else that had a reaction to the video that they wanted to share?
I think it was very funny.
Very funny, yeah. I'm glad that was your reaction. I think it's hysterical. I giggle every time. I've seen this thousands of times. And I giggle every time, and I love the fact because learning doesn't have to be difficult, right? And so it should be fun. And I think it's hysterical. I love the way they did it. I think the whole thing is cool. Like I said, there's a couple more if you guys ever want to check out Happify. Just go on YouTube or go on their site. They've got really good stuff. But truly, I really like for people to think about that. Think about this as a superpower that you get to add to your arsenal of support that's going to help you to live your best life and be your best self. That's really empowering. So let's talk about that. And let's talk about what we're talking with freedom to choose your response. So when we talked about that stressful situation, and we talked about, how we typically may react when we feel those, sorry, I touched it again, sorry, I gotta stop doing that, barrier. When we're talking about, whether they're having, chest tightness or shortness of breath or just, really feeling tense, letting that go. And so what we're saying is now if you envision that stressful situation, again, that stimulus that's coming your way, now we're going to think about having choice. So instead of going down that rabbit hole of I'm going to, raise my fist to someone when they've cut me off or swear at them, or you guys would never do that, or anything, or just even have any negative thoughts, now we might say, I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a pause, and instead I'm going to change my response. And maybe I'm going to think something differently. I'm going to wish them well. And I'll tell you guys, I know you're probably snickering a little bit. I get that's cool. But I'll tell you guys it works. And I've got some great tips that are coming up later on in the presentation. But I'll tell you guys it works. I've done it, and I continue to do it. I'm a reformed rageaholic behind the wheel. I used to get really frustrated with people and, bad driver, whatever. And through becoming mindful, I now will send out some kind of peaceful message. Really, I do it. Now, I'm not going to lie. The first time I did it, it kind of came out like this. May you be safe. I was really, struggling through my words, but it works. And then you find out that negative energy doesn't hold on to you. Otherwise, it's like, God, it's such a creepy feeling, feeling all, worked up over stuff, but I just let it go. Now I'm like, well, may you be safe, and may you get to wherever you need to be safely at however crazy speed you're going. All good for you. So, and what we're talking about, it might be a little bit hard to see on the bottom. It's an image at just high level of the brain. And the focus that I want to call out is that little red reptilian part of your brain. They call it the reptilian brain, and that's that fight or flight. So, that's that part that says, what should I do? What should I do? Should I engage? And what I like to think of with mindfulness, I don't know if anybody has dogs, but they have that thunder shirt that's supposed to help dogs feel better when it's, fireworks or loud noises. I like to think about mindfulness as like a thunder shirt for your brain. So kind of calming down that fight or flight, that reptilian part of our brains that says, you know what, I don't have to go down this crazy path. So let's talk a little bit more. What I have for you on the screen, and hopefully everyone will be able to read this. If not, I might have to rely on my front row folks to help out on this one. This is a definition of mindfulness. Now, I tell you guys, if you go online, you're going to see all kinds of stuff, and I certainly encourage you to do so. No wrong answers out there. This quote comes to us from Jon Kabat-Zinn, and for anyone that's not familiar, he's one of the big names in mindfulness. He's been around for a very, very long time. He actually founded its MBSR, its mindfulness. Of course, now I just forgot the darn, let's just bring it up. I've got it. Mindfulness-based stress reduction. I needed to be more mindful for that moment. And what he said was, we can bring this into organizations such as military, such as folks who are working in law enforcement, teachers, students. We don't have to just have this for managing physical strength. This is really about that whole mind, body, spirit connection. And people are really identifying with that. We're finding more organizations are adapting and understanding the importance of being mindful. So I'm curious if I could ask for a couple of volunteers, because I really like this quote. Could I ask someone just to read out loud to the first comma? Who'd like to start us out? Yeah, Chris. Oh, I saw both of you. Yeah. Okay.
Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose.
Okay, Chris, you want to take us to the next comma?
In the present moment.
Okay, and did I see you had a hand up?
And non-judgmental.
All right, and who'd like to finish us off? How about on this side? Yeah.
The unfolding of experiment, moment to moment.
Okay, thank you, volunteers. What do you guys think about this? Is there any word or words that jump out at you? And again, no wrong answer, just curious. Non-judgmentally, right? Because we like to think we're non-judgmental, but sometimes these little biases can pop up. So that's very key. Thanks. Yeah, did I see a hand over here? In the present moment, right? That's pretty exciting. Not looking back saying, gosh, I wish I'd been, shoulda, coulda, that whole rabbit trail. But really about being in the present moment. Yeah. Anybody, anything else jumping out at you? Okay, and the unfolding of experience moment to moment. How many times in life have we missed that moment because we've been thinking about what could have been or what should be, right? Time with your kids, with your family, doing something special. And we're thinking about tomorrow or yesterday. I saw this speaker once. She was amazing, and I really she connected our brains to that of a tape recorder. Dating myself a little bit here, but you all, I think, know what I'm talking about. So, tape recorder, right? And what we're saying here is that so often we spend our days in rewind. Why did I do that? Shoulda, coulda. Any shoulda, couldas out here, right? We can let that go. And conversely, so often we think about what will happen in the future. I'll be happy when I get that new house. I'll be happy when this change happens. What about if we just pressed play and stayed present? And I thought that was pretty powerful. I was like, yeah. All the things that we have the opportunity to enjoy right this very moment, and all the different ways that we can do it, that we can just be perfectly present and being mindful of that very moment. Oh boy, this is really going to be an eye test for you guys. I promise, no quizzes here. I'll just speak to this. So this gentleman on this slide is Richard Davidson. He's another big name in mindfulness. And actually, we're very proud to say we have him right there in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. he's just another pioneer. He's psychiatry, psychology. He's the head and the founder of Center for Healthy Minds, which is another really cool resource that's out there. And again, I have that in my resources for you. And why I bring him up in this particular slide with teeny little writing on it is because he talks about the 9 attitudes of mindfulness. And one of the things that he talks about and highlights is a beginner's mind. And you guys remember when I highlighted that quote that's on the front of your brochure? That's why it really struck me. I was like, wow, this is really about looking at things for the first time perhaps, or looking at with a fresh mind. And so often, if you think about it, like children, they have no bias, right? They have no judgment. They're just out there. Everything's great. You want to be friends with everyone, and everything's wonderful and happy. And then somewhere along the line in our life, we lose that. And through our life experiences, we build up biases. We build up judgment. It happens. Whether you know it or not, it happens. So this is that opportunity to really bring us back, to identify with that beginner mind. And I included this. I'm going to read it to you guys. Probably hard to see. It says, a child's mind is like an open book. Yet as an adult, we just can't seem to get that book opened. It's powerful, isn't it? Kind of makes you want to be 4 again. Me too. But the good news is, through mindfulness practices, we can do that. We can be perfectly present. We can connect with those that we love so much and enjoy every single day of this amazing life. And again, it doesn't mean everything's perfect. Remember, I told you guys I'm not taking your stress away. It's really about helping ourselves to ride that wave so that we can be more proactive in those opportunities and less reactive. This is really exciting too, and I'll tell you guys there's a lot of data. Trust me, I said I did my master's around this, so I've read up on a lot of stuff, and there's way more than what I did my capstone around. A lot of studies around the fact that mindfulness has this impact that we call neuroplasticity. And this is really about rewiring your brain. Isn't that crazy? You didn't know we were going to go here this morning or this afternoon, did you? And what this says is that we don't have a fixed number of brain cells. And that when we practice mindfulness, there are studies out there. And actually what you see, that picture, so the picture that you see on the left is Richie Davidson with the Dalai Lama. How cool to have the Dalai Lama for your best friend. And they do a lot of work together, and I love that picture because it looks like they're just really enjoying something together. Probably talking about mindfulness, I'm sure. And then the picture on the right is they were actually doing a study involving an MRI on compassion meditation and mindfulness. And I thought that's pretty awesome. And basically what it's saying is that when we are mindful, we actually can grow the gray matter in our brain. Did I just blow your minds right now? I know, right? I thought after college I was all downhill. I thought, well, I've worn out everything I have here, so this is it. And the good news is through being mindful, we can do that. And really, it's a simple daily practice. So this isn't something that you have to commit to an hour a day or even daily. It's just, again, just like any positive change in life, if we incorporate it at a regular practice, chances are we're going to stay with it, right? So, pretty good stuff. And when we think about it, you've all now become, neurosurgeons, I guess, because we're all rewiring our brains right now as we talk about this. But Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. So that's very important for all of us to think about because you are the owner of those changes. I promise you, this is my last time I touched it. Gosh, I need to be more mindful of that. So very, very important for us. Very important for us because if you find, I keep going down this rabbit hole, what are we doing to change it? Because the good news and the bad news, folks, is that control is an illusion. We do not have the ability to control anybody on this earth except for ourselves. It's a true story, right? I know you're all thinking, no, I've got control over my spouse or my kids or whatever. No, you don't. Dreamer, no, you don't. You have some influence. But the truth is the only one we can fully control is ourselves. I didn't touch it this time. Did you guys see that? I got a barrier now. So that's really, really important. All right, I'm going to read these to you because I know that the little bubbles are probably going to be a little challenging. So let's talk a little bit around the benefits of mindfulness. So if you're not already hopped up, which I'm hoping you are, I think this is going to take you over the edge because there's a lot of benefits to it. When we practice mindfulness regularly, we amp up our creativity. So that right side of your brain that likes to have fun, that likes to explore, maybe it's a hobby that you've kind of put aside, whatever it might be, even at work, whatever it might be. When we're more mindful, we can amp up our creativity, our performance. Think about athletes. Do you guys know how popular mindfulness is in the sports arena? Do you know that there are coaches out there for athletes that speak to them specifically around being mindful? You think about what it's like when you're in the zone of something that you enjoy. So perhaps you enjoy swimming, for example. My guess is you're very mindful in that moment about your swim practice. That's as simple as it is. This isn't about sitting in a corner and going, for 30 minutes. This is about really just being present, non-judgmentally, and in the moment. What about better decision making? Does anyone find when they're stressed that it can be a challenge to make decisions? Anybody have that? I see a lot of you nodding. Yeah, that happens to me. If I'm stressed, I will open the closet and I will be like, well, should I wear that or that? That or that? I don't know, what should I wear? Let's not make this difficult, Lisa. Just pull something out of the closet. But that's a simple example. But now think about how that impacts us in life, right? And if we're constantly running around and being challenged with stress and not being able to deal with it well, that may impact us long term, right? And then we find that that could be a daily challenge. So any kind of decision that comes your way, I don't know. We're at the grocery store and there's two different kinds of, well, I don't know, at my grocery store, there's like 100 different kinds of milks. Which one should I get, right? That could become a real stressor and add up. So we have to think about that. Is there anybody that's at the top of their well-being and happiness? Thank you, I'm good. I don't need to be any more happy. Chances are we could all take a little bit in, right? We could think about that. I'm a really happy person. If you haven't picked that up, this is me, genuine. It's who I am. There's always a part of me that says I want more, though. And that drives me for wanting to stay focused on my practice, because that's what gets you there. Better immune functioning. You guys know the phrase mind, body, spirit? It's all connected. All connected. Tell you a true story. A couple years ago, I got really sick. And I am a very, very healthy person. My doctor tells me I'm his healthiest patient. I take that to heart. So when things didn't go so well for me once, I got really mad. I was like, did I fall from grace from the healthiest patient? He assured me no. Because it was a weird blip in time. But I'll tell you guys, crazy story. I'd actually just done a presentation, and I was in downtown Milwaukee, and I could feel something was going bad. Something was going bad fast. And I was not mindful enough to seek out help right away. I just thought I'll drive myself to the ER. It was not good. I mean, I barely got there. I was in bad shape, and the bottom line is they were never able to really find out what it was. They just called it like a viral infection. Came out of nowhere. But I got really sick. I was in the ER, and I had to have a whole bunch of things done. Everything, thank God, wound up being just fine. But what's wild is my miraculous recovery. So like overnight, I was back to normal. And my doctor said, I have no idea how this is possible. Like, you were really sick. And it took a while, to run that course. And then he said, and like that, you're back to normal. And I said, well, I do practice mindfulness, and it is a superpower. He always thinks I'm a little strange. But it's true. It's all connected. It's all connected. And if we can help ourselves with that, with these different mindfulness practices, they do make a difference. I am telling you guys, that's a true story, and I do believe in it. I really do. And the more we do it, the less our chances are of saying, ooh, when was the last time I practiced being mindful? Because it just becomes a part of who we are. It's not like I have to come in here and be like, ooh, I hope I'm mindful with everyone today. Like, it's just here. It's with me. When I walk, I'm a daily walker, and these days I'm really into what are the sights, what are the sounds around me, what am I witnessing versus what do I have to do when I get home. And I'm not saying, again, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just not about getting stuck in that. So maybe we have that conversation with ourselves the first few minutes, and then we let that go and just enjoy the walk. Or enjoy the time with family, or whatever that might look like. What do you guys think? Those are cool benefits, eh? Yeah, I know, right? So let's move into daily practices, because I promised you guys that you were going to get some goodies to go with you. And I want to be mindful of your time, and we're doing really, really good on time. This first one that I have for you is one of my favorites. And this is called a 4x4 breath. And I think it would be fun if we all tried it. So all it's saying, and again, do this anywhere, anytime, all we're saying is just kind of notice where you're at. Doesn't have to be stressed, just kind of notice where am I at right now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 counts, breathe it out for 4 counts. We're going to do it 4 times. So let's try it together. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Breathe out. Number 2. Number 3. And last. Doesn't that feel good? It is so cleansing. And you can do that anytime. Do that anytime. Think about, like, we talked about the arrival right away when we first started chatting. This is another one that you could do literally anytime. I like to do it while I'm walking, actually. I'll do some nice 4x4 breaths. And you'll be surprised how you're not even aware that you've been holding things inside. And you do those nice cleansing breaths, and then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I feel so much better. I feel lighter. It's as simple as it is. 4x4 breath. So another one, another kind of take on it. This is, utilizing that concept of that awareness, right? Noticing, shifting, and then rewiring. This is really about focusing on your breath. And again, don't feel you have to memorize these things. It's just the basic concept. And basically what you could do, and you can just do this independently, again, just kind of that awareness, where am I at? And then taking that deep breath in and really shifting to feel, what does it feel like? Is the air cool as it's coming in? Is it warm? Maybe what sounds? Sometimes you make those little wheezy noises, Anything coming in? And then just allowing yourself really that moment to relax. It's like a spa moment for yourself. And then when you take another breath, just allowing yourself to feel that rewire and really, really building in where you're at in that moment. These are simple things, guys. Simple things that take seconds and that you can reward yourself with anytime. It's just about connecting. Again, our breath is free. We don't even have to go to a gym. We don't have to go anywhere. We got it right here in ourselves. For those that are list makers, do I have any list makers in the room? I love to make lists, and I love to cross stuff off the list. It makes me so happy. Sometimes I'll just continue it on the list, like other pages. And then I like to look back, and I'm like, ooh, look at what I accomplished on Saturday. I'm amazing. So this is a great way to help you get, again, we talked about like that zone of productivity, like that athletes have, right? They're in the zone. This is our productivity zone. And so what I encourage my list makers and everybody that's out there is really think about what are the 3. Note, I'm only giving you 3. You can't put 17 things on your list. I know you want to. A lot of us do, right? And then we get frustrated. Then we beat ourselves up. Why haven't I gotten all 17 things done? It's too much for one day. So let's try with 3. And then let's think about those unconscious commitments that might be getting in the way. What do I mean by that? I was going to look for my cell phone, but I packed it away. That's a big one. And I'm not anti-technology, guys. What I'm saying is that it can get in the way. Has anyone ever done that where you're like, I'm going to do this, but first I'm just going to see what's going on Facebook, or I'm going to look for that new top on Amazon or whatever. And then 3 hours pass and you're like, what the heck just happened here? Or am I alone in that? Anybody else have that? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So those are, and again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but make sure that doesn't get in the way of you wanting to accomplish things. So when we're really mindful about that and putting that out there, then we can say, and maybe then I'm going to set 30 minutes where I'm going to go online, and giving yourself some parameters around that. And then, as you're doing that, shifting, writing down those priorities, so getting really connected with that. And then once you do it, that rewire piece would probably be just you savoring that feeling of, yeah, got those 3 things off the list. You can build off of that. So if you want to do 5, but again, try to stick off those 17 things on your list, because that just gets overwhelming for you. You don't want to do that. Life's too short. Again, I'm going to go back to we are responsible, right? We are responsible. When I ask, what role do you play in making your day a positive experience for yourself and others? It's all you, right? It's all you. How do you start your day? Do you say, I have to go to work? Or do you say, I get to go to work? It's a simple word choice, but think about how you feel when you say it. I have to do this, right? Versus I get to do this. It's little stories that we tell ourselves. What story are you telling yourself? And it's not just about the morning, it's any time. And so that's really important because we have to think about what might be getting in our way that maybe we weren't even consciously thinking about. And being mindful about that. This is one of my favorites. This is called the Instant Reframe. Look at all these tools you guys are getting. So basically, again, taking us back to a stressful situation, or could just be any time. Kind of noticing where we at, how are those reactions. And then shifting by asking ourselves a question. One of my favorites is, do I know this to be true? Do I know this to be true? I come from a long line of worriers. My mother could teach a class in worry. I'm really serious. She really takes it to like an art form. And so I've grown up with that. So it's been like really a lifelong struggle to like get out of the worry zone. Sort of taken on like the world's problems, like, well, I should worry about that. And really through this practice, I've gotten more away from it. My mom still hasn't, though I work on her. So like the other day we were talking and she said, well, Lisa, I can't help it. I have to worry about that. And I said, do you? Because do you know that to be true? And what about if you just let it go? Do you have to worry about that? And how often do we create stories? Anybody here ever create a story without validating the truth? I mean, it could be something as simple as, well, clearly she's looking at me and nodding. She's talking to someone next to her. She hates my dress. Do I know that to be true? No, that's ridiculous, right? I've just totally made up a story. It's amazing anyway. But, you know, we make up stories all the time. That's just a silly example. But the point being is, how often do we take the opportunity to stop and be like, hey, wait a minute. You know, do I know that to be true? And you think about all the people you pass on the road. We don't know what their story is. Sometimes you wish you had the little bubble above them. Probably not. Probably don't want to know. But, you know, we don't have that. So we have to think about, we have to take people at face value. Do I know this to be true? Am I worrying over mere possibilities? Guys, ever get yourself all worked up over something and then you find out, no, everything's okay, everyone's home safe. But now you spent 2 hours worrying, getting yourself all worked up? You can let that go. It's pretty cool. What would I be without these thoughts? Ooh, thinking about yourself without the worry. Yeah. I'm not saying it'll never happen. I'm saying about minimizing, right? So being aware, so the next time you start feeling worried or, you know, stressed about something, maybe just taking a moment to say, hey, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to find out. I've asked people, if I think something, I've been like, hey, can I just validate with you? You know, when we talked, I picked up on, can you tell me about? And I'll tell you, 99% of the time, I am wrong. I am wrong. And people will say, gosh, no, I wasn't thinking that at all. Well, isn't that a good thing to be wrong about, right? So why not ask and validate? Why not find out or let it go? Let it go. If that person is a stranger and you're worried about, did they give you a sideways eye and, you know, they have a problem or with you or whatever, what about if we just let it go? And if they do, you know, they'll bring it up or something, you know? So these are all really, really, really good things to think about, you know, especially out there in the world, you know, just Asking yourself that question, do I know it to be true? Here's one of my favorites. I told you guys we'd come back here. These are instant reframes for while you're behind the wheel. So I know you mentioned, I pointed that out. So for anyone in the room, you guys, these are great practices. So whether it's been an issue for you or not, even if you just want to have more of a presence behind the wheel, I'm all about the cue. So whether it's a stop sign or whatever it is that you regularly see, maybe when you're at that stop sign, gives you an opportunity to just take a nice deep breath in. Don't do your 4x4 breath here because people might get mad. Why is she not going or he not going, right? So don't do that, but maybe just, or maybe just take a moment to think about how am I feeling? Are my shoulders up here? Am I feeling tense? Am I gripping the wheel like this? Maybe we could just shake it out for a minute, right? I told you guys this one earlier, but I'm going to reiterate. If you feel you've been cut off by someone or some other negative behavior, sending them some peace. May you be safe. Or maybe to yourself, may I be calm. Keep it in check. You don't have to go there. We don't have to allow that person's decision to impact our behavior. Again, that's really empowering. I always say don't let someone's negative energy take your positivity away. Don't let that impact you being your best self. Build those non-judgmental muscles and that awareness. Just accept people. We're all just humans, right? We're all just humans trying to do our best, living a hopefully joyful, connected life. I mean, I'm guessing we've all at one point in our lives done something behind the wheel that we think, oops, right? I can't be the only person that's cut someone off and then be like, no, I am so sorry, I'm doing this. And I'm sure they might have been like, oh boy, oh. Hopefully they sent me peace too. Because, chances are, it could have been a mistake. Regardless, don't own that energy. Let it go. So let's continue that, and let's think about different ways that we can practice mindfulness and bring that in to daily ideas. Anytime you're waiting in line. So think about grocery stores. Again, I don't know what your all situation is, but where my husband and I shop, grocery shopping can be an experience. It is a very large store, and the wait to get out, to check out, can be lengthy. So my husband and I have a really good system. We shop together, and then he goes to the car, and I check out because I don't care. I'm really happy. I totally zone out while I'm in the checkout line. I just do some mindfulness. I just take in the moment. And actually, I kind of enjoy it. So, finding different ways like that. How often do we get stressed when we're waiting in line? And we think, oh gosh, this line is so long, this Starbucks, my gosh, everybody wants coffee this morning. Well, instead, take that opportunity. Just be in the moment. Do a couple of deep breaths. Maybe engage with a new friend that's standing next to you. I'll tell you guys, I met some amazing people yesterday at the airport. I forgot how much fun traveling is, especially when there is delays, which can really hot people up. But I met some of the nicest people yesterday, all because we connected. We could have been like in our own world, and that's okay too. Time and a place for everything. But I met some really cool friends at the airport yesterday. I know I'm so weird. But it's awesome. I love the life I get to lead. I get to connect with people. I sat next to a guy on the plane yesterday. Turns out he does coaching too. We exchanged information and, we talked the entire time. You may be surprised. Maybe not. Other times we wait, red lights. Do they ever feel like an eternity? They won't if you incorporate some of those mindful practices. find ways to make that connection. Ooh, I love this one, washing your hands. That's a great, the other thing that I really love about, I like doing when I'm washing my hands, it's kind of silly, but again, you guys find what works for you. I'll do like washing away negativity, and I'll be like washing my hands, and I'm like, negativity. And then like I envision it going down the drain. If it's too silly for you, don't take it. But if you like it, I love it. Or like when I'm walking, I'll do like gratitude, like I'll be like, thank you. I don't know, simple little things, but it helps and it works. Before you eat. I don't know about you guys, but I wolf food down. First of all, I love to eat, so there's that. But second of all, I don't know why, for some reason, I always feel like I'm on a marathon. And so I'm always eating really, really fast, or I have been historically, working on it, progress. How mindful are we of that food? Thinking about maybe where it came from, how we created it. You know, there's opportunities to really connect. That's pretty awesome. Before you go to bed. And I'll tell you guys, I listen to mindfulness practice every night before I go to bed, and it's amazing. It's really a great way to wrap up the night. So again, you know, what's up? Oh, sorry, did I call you? I'm sorry, I didn't even, I thought you had something you wanted to share.
I said I pray instead.
You pray? Hey, and that's great too. Again, it's whatever works for you. And to the point of your colleague at the table, maybe that's part of your connection too. So you've got that spiritual mindfulness connection, and that's totally awesome. What a beautiful way to end the evening. I love this quote, and again, I'm going to read it because it might be small print. It says, everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice.
I think it's easier said than done. I just listened to some of the stuff that some of my friends have said. And I was like, what do you expect to do when you keep doing the same thing?
Yeah.
You got to make a decision to do something different than you expect something different.
You do. You do. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree completely. And again, I hope that you are feeling empowered by this. It doesn't mean that things don't come our way that are challenging, that are, you know, there are things, especially I think about this last year, oh my goodness, all of the things that have come our way that have really been a lot of struggles, a lot of stress. We don't have to get stuck in that though. It's about processing through that. And if you find that you're stuck here, how do we get out? And this is a great way to do it. A couple other things that I want to share with you as we're thinking about it, because I can't believe this time is flying so fast. How can we bring our whole heart to every moment? You know, I get really excited when I think about like these global opportunities. You know, like coming to another state, meeting new people. How can we build that connection? I mean, I have to believe we're all here for a reason. And I have to believe it's around connectivity. I really do. Call me Pollyanna, I like it here. I like where I'm at. You know, I mentioned about, you know, really getting that opportunity to taste the food. Hear the laughter. When was the last time? I'll tell you guys, I had a couple of girlfriends over last Saturday and we did gut-busting laughs. When was the last time you guys had them? I hadn't had one in a really long time. My stomach hurt the next day. And it was stupid stuff. I mean, it was really, if I told you and you'd be like, don't ever come back. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. It felt so good and it felt great just to hear it. And my neighbors were having a graduation party and the music was going and it just felt so joyful and just really was wonderful to enjoy it. And then really, you know, how can we make that commitment? Being fully present, bringing awareness to what it is that we're doing. So, you know, again, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, a walk, maybe it's a cup of tea. So really, you know, enjoying that heat, if you enjoy tea, the cup, what does it smell like? That first taste. maybe that nice vanilla or whatever you might have in it, the scents, really enjoying. I mean, life is so much more exciting when we have that opportunity. It really is. It would not be an opportunity, if I missed this, I would be remiss to talk to you guys very quickly about gratitude, because I feel like this is all connected. This is one of my favorite practices called the 3 good things. If you're not already doing something of this nature, I highly recommend. Great way to start your day, great way to end your day. Just really being mindful about what went well today. Why was it good? How did it make you feel? If that feels too complicated, just connect with 3 good things. I like writing stuff down because I feel like it amps up the commitment. But even if you just start your day with gratitude, end your day with gratitude. What are you thankful for? What was good about today? And it can be simple as, I have a roof over my head. That's pretty big, right? Not everybody has that. I'm wearing shoes. Not everybody has them. So, you know what I'm saying, you guys? Don't overthink this, but don't miss that opportunity to connect. And really, really being mindful, because one small positive thought in the morning can change the entire outcome of your day. What's the story you're telling yourself? I get to do this. I have to do this, right? Choose I get. I want to make sure to call out these resources. They're not all-inclusive list. So again, you Google mindfulness, you'll find an abundance of stuff out there, just an abundance. But these are some of my favorites: Happify, Mindful, Center for Greater Good. If anyone has an Alexa or anything like that at home, did you guys know that she does mindfulness skills? Yeah. Check your skills. So she does all kinds of, and she'll bring in guest stars. So, when we're thinking about, have her every day, Alexa, set my mindfulness up. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, give yourself those cues. Tons of apps out there. I use Headspace. I'm a huge fan of it. A lot of these apps will start out free, and then they'll want you, like a lot of websites. But I'll tell you, it's money well spent. Because like my Headspace will track how many minutes, how my stretch, I've been doing it for 300 days or whatever, and it's 1,800 minutes or whatever it might be. And I like that. That my competitive self is like, ooh, I like that. I should keep doing it. So to your point about like cueing and reminding you, those things are really important because we're busy people and busy lives. This will help us stay connected. So like I said, not an all-inclusive list at all. I love this. 10 minutes of meditation is the 1% of your day that makes the other 99% better. That's it, guys. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need a lot of time to be mindful, to practice that opportunity. And what I'd like to do, I see we've just got a couple of minutes left. If it's okay by you guys, I'd love to bring us back. So kind of similar to what we did with the arrival, if everyone would be open to that. All right, so let's go ahead and get comfortable in our chairs. Again, let's do the same thing, feet on the ground if it feels right. I'm going to also invite you your hands wherever they feel comfortable, lap, table, wherever. And then let's just take that moment to close our eyes. Just want you to allow yourself, take a nice deep breath. And allow that oxygen, feeling so good as it's coming in. And then letting it go out. Right now, there is nothing you need to do. Nothing special. Just taking in this moment. Just feel that air moving in. Feel that air moving out. I want you guys to be kind to your busy mind. Almost immediately and often, your mind's going to wander. You're going to think about many different things, and that's okay. Just bring yourself back to breath. Give yourself grace. Don't force your mind into stillness. Just simply enjoy this moment. Breathing in, breathing out. Remember, you can go here anytime. Whether you have me to help you through it, an app, Alexa, just simply you telling yourself, I need to give myself this time for me. Remember, your breath is always there for you and will always guide you and help you to be your best self. Let's go ahead and take another nice deep breath in, inhaling positivity, joy, peace, and let that out, exhaling negativity and all that does not serve us. And when you're ready, I'll invite you to open your eyes. I want to thank you guys so much for your amazing engagement and participation. This has been just a thrill to be back and to be here with you. I know we are very, very close to our time, I believe right on time. Again, my sincerest gratitude to all of you. You're amazing. As I promised, I have a little book for each one of you. This is a book that we gave out at Freighter for different presentations that we've done, so I'll be happy to get you each a copy. They have the practices that I've talked about and some other ones, so please take this with you, and I invite you to enjoy the practices and be your best self. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this webinar. Please follow the instructions on the screen to earn NAHUC contact hours. You may visit our website, look for education, click on virtual library to access the post-test and instructions. Please call or text or email with any questions that you may have. Our contact information is listed on this slide.